From a place of peace, alignment, and natural beauty, you step out in elegance, strength, and boldness. Draped in confidence, clothed in purpose, you carry more than style, you carry a calling. For the eco-conscious kingdom-driven woman, whether building a business, walking confidently into your next divine assignment, or showing up in everyday excellence, Anastasia's styling is more than fashion. It reflects your divine identity. Our mission is to create quality, elegant, modest clothing for kingdom-driven women while being conscious about the planet. Every detail, stitch, and fabric is 100% organic, purposefully made with care for God's creation. Modest, modern, made with purpose. You're not just wearing a look, you are wearing confidence, calling, conviction. Conscious Chic by Anastasia Styling. Consciously styled for purpose. Shop the Conscious Chic collection today. Visit anastasiastyling.com and click Shop Now to explore the pieces.
Did you know that you have something that no one else has? But too oftentimes society may make you feel like this is something you need to downplay. Hello everyone, my name is Anastasia Hay here at Divinely Empowered Media, and I'm so glad to be here tonight to share with you a powerful message, and we're diving into why your uniqueness is your greatest asset. Too many times people try to hide away. They try to hide away something special that God has put inside of them because they want to please people. They want to please the world. They want to please society. They want to live up to a certain standard, but that's not what God has called us to do. And so starting with number one, we must understand why God has designed us. All of us, we all have a unique purpose, but how many people are tapping into that unique purpose? How many people are embracing their unique identity in God? Not too many people. They don't know. They're not being told. Society is putting pressure on folks and saying, this is what it means to be successful. This is what it means to be happy. This is what it means to be beautiful. This is what it means to be wealthy. This is what it means to be talented. And the list goes on. And so the average person out there that doesn't have anyone to pour into them, doesn't have a mentor, may not even have any parents, may not even have a role model, is out there in the world beating up themselves, falling into depression, struggling with mental health issues, and even worse, suicidal thoughts. Young people at the age of 13 years old, maybe even younger, they're already indoctrinated about what is expected of them by society. But when we come to the conclusion of this, when we're able to realize the unique identity that we have, the greatness that we have within us, that it is our asset, we're able to pass that on to the youths. We're able to pass that on to our children, to those that we work with. If we know that for ourselves, we can be a role model. But your greatness, your unique greatness, will make room for you. That right there is what's going to attract your wealth, your success, your peace, your joy. When you begin to embrace what God has put inside of you, when you begin to embrace who God has created you to be. So every grit, trait, and experience was intentionally crafted for your assignment. Do you know what your assignment is? Not many people do. And how are you identifying your assignment? Some say, oh, well, I've been going to church for many long years, or I went to college for this degree and that degree. Something else I want to bring to your awareness is your degree, your credentials. That's not a part of your identity. A lot of times people feel like if they have a master's, that makes them. When you introduce yourself to someone, what immediately you're saying? Oh, well, my name is so-and-so, and I have a master's degree, and I own a big property, and I drive a Porsche or I drive a Benz. Okay, that's you. Is that really you? Which leads me to using your story as a tool for impact. Number two, our story, our experiences, the things that we go through in life. From we are children, growing up with our parents, teenagers, our adulthood, like everything that we go through on our journey in life. That is our story. And you wouldn't believe how there's so many successful people who are turning things around for the best in their community, and their families, generations to come, because of their story. Because out of their story, their greatness was unveiled. That is powerful. So if you are just recognizing yourself for what you achieve, what if all of that was stripped away from you? What then would you have to say? And then this is why it's important that so many people need to know who Christ is. This is why it's so important people need to have a relationship with God and realize that their identity is not rooted in the things that they achieve or the things that they own. Because when those things are stripped away from us, we are left naked. Naked of all the possessions, because someday it will fade away. Naked of all the achievements. What makes us is our Creator. What makes us is the life experiences that we have, because people can relate to stories. People can relate to your experiences. And even if it's not the same exact story or the same exact experience, they can still learn from it. They can still benefit from it. You as a single mother, you're walking around as a victim, beating up yourself, thinking that you're not good enough because society says you need to be married. And listen, marriage is a beautiful thing. If you've watched my past videos, I've spoken a lot about marriage and being a wife and the beauty of it. But you also have to realize that where you are now, how can you serve? How can you love? How can you still be all that God wants you to be, even if you're not at that specific place in your life? And this is where it's important for you to embrace the greatness that you have within you. There is another single mother out there that's probably giving up on her children, giving up on her family, giving up on her career, giving up on life because she said, my man left me. My man left me all alone to carry all of these responsibilities all by myself. And so what? She's now on drugs. She's smoking. She leaves her kids to the street. And look at you, some way, somehow, you take the time to open your Bible. You take the time to go on your knees and say, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to pay the next bill, but I'm asking you to give me strength. I'm asking you to give me an idea. Some way, somehow, out of your mess, out of your story, out of your tribulation, you're able to make 2 ends meet for your kids. You see your son and you say, you know what, I'm not going to give up on my son. And you decide to partner up with your brother. And you're like, you know what, Sam, could you have a talk with my son? Because he's at an age where he needs a man in his life. Could you mentor him? Could you teach him some things? Could you teach him how to change out the tires? Now you as a single mother, you're thinking out the box. And you're saying, I don't want to make any excuses for why I cannot thrive in life. There's somewhere I want to be. I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards it. And as you continue to climb the ladders, you continue to push and push and push. You know what's happening? Your greatness is unfolding. That uniqueness about you is unfolding. That thing that is despised in society and looked down, frowned upon in the world. You're turning it around. God is turning around for your good. And so you're not walking around as a victim. You're using that very story, that very experience as a testimony to let that single mother know that, hey, I did it. And I want to encourage you and let you know that you can do it too. Now you become an inspiration. And out of that, books, programs, workshops, your wealth, your purpose is becoming alive. So, your uniqueness is your greatest asset. This is why it's so important people need to take time to know themselves. Because if you do not know yourself, it doesn't matter what space you enter, you're going to always feel like an outcast. You're going to always feel like the little one. And so when you know who you are, God can entrust you with more greatness. He can entrust you with more responsibilities. He can entrust you with more exposure. Because at some point, if you continue to tap into your greatness, if you continue to tap into your uniqueness, what makes you different, that asset that God has given to you to set you apart, if you continue to tap into it, something amazing will come out of it. Something beautiful will flourish. And then it is going to bring a lot of attention, a lot of eyes, a lot of spotlight. People are going to want to know, how'd you get here? How were you able to do the things that you do? Wow, what makes you so different? And so if you are not aware of who you are, if you're not aware of who your identity is rooted in, when you get into that publicity, when you get into the spotlight, when more people are recognizing you, you're going to have a hard time answering some questions. You're going to have a hard time knowing how to appropriate yourself in front of these people. So I meet different kinds of people almost every week, every month. Same folks, different folks. And I tell you, so because God has blessed me with the spirit of discernment, I'm so grateful for that. And I pray for stronger discernment, because chosen one, you have to know who is with you. Because there are many people, as you continue to climb up the ladder, who are going to smile in your face, but they are not with you. That's going to be a quote that I'll be using next week for Motivational Monday. Many will smile in your face, but they're not with you. And so it's very important that you are discerning. So anyways, I went to this event recently, and a woman in business, was there that, we're all like in a circle, a bunch of other women in business, and we're all talking and just catching up. And, a conversation came up in regards to the things that I post. And, one lady was saying, yeah, wow, I can imagine how time consuming it is, while one lady is saying, I just love the things that you post. And the other one is saying, it seems very time consuming. It must be a lot of work. Ah, man. I love that. But you know what I said to her? I said, for me, it's like art. I have a passion for it. For me, it doesn't feel like a lot of work. For me, it's not time consuming. I said, I'm a woman of excellence and a woman of discipline, and I like to get things done. And I said, if you don't have a passion for something, it's going to feel like hard work. It's going to feel time consuming. She was left silent. She's like, I did see your post. I saw your post about this and that. And I said, okay. In the back of my head, I said, you see my post, but I've never at one point ever saw you engage with my post. Now I have the other woman on the other side that says, I love what you post, but she's always engaging with my stuff. So I'm like, okay, I've seen your feedback. You're telling me in person your thoughts, but I've also seen you engage with my thing. So those are the kind of things you have to pay attention to. So I put 2 and 2 together, and I realized, hey, you're going to meet some people, as sad as it is to say. Sometimes they're not going to support you. They'll see you pop up in their feed because there's a little bit of jealousy within them, or they're secretly competing with you, or they're just watching you to see how far are you going to reach. There's all kinds of weird things that people struggle with in their minds. But you know what? This is why it's important you continue to push and get to where you need to go. Because at the end of the day, who cares about what they think? Right? Doesn't really matter. But too many people fall into that trap where they're so concerned that, oh my gosh, I'm trying to impress so-and-so. Stop trying to impress people. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your life. Focus on pleasing the one above, the great I am, the King of Kings, because he's all that matters, honestly. If he's pleased with your work, if he's pleased with your consistency and your discipline, and you know who you're showing up, and you know why you are showing up, that's most important. Why are you showing up? I know why I show up. I know why I put in the effort that I do, because there's something bigger that I'm working towards. So people and their small way of thinking, I just kind of push them aside. I put them in their place. Denzel Washington, inspiration for me. I put them in their place. Jonathan Rumi, I was watching his interview on The View. Oh my goodness. Whoopi Goldberg and, all the rest of them. Very interesting women. their perspectives, very questionable. But Jonathan Ruby, who plays as the character of Jesus Christ in a very popular show called Chosen, was invited twice onto The View. And I'm telling you, one of the hosts was asking him some weird questions. And Jonathan Ruby silenced the room. Another actor that I didn't even realize was a Christian is Matthew McConaughey. I believe it's Matthew McConaughey. I said, what? He's a Christian. Invited on The View. And one of the hosts asked him a disturbingly weird question as well. And he said, I'm not going to be answering that question. I'm not going to be falling for trying to engage with what you're trying to engage me with. So you got to know how to be straightforward. And it has nothing to do with, well, I didn't want to come off rude or stuck up. No, be assertive, speak your mind, be professional, be polite. But you don't have to go with these people's agenda. You see what I'm saying? No one to put people in their place and leave them silent. And I have given God thanks so many times for the confidence and the courage to be able to do that. And it has nothing to do with pride, but there are people who intentionally, sometimes it's the enemy that wants to use them to mess with your self-esteem or mess with your mind or make you feel like you're doing too much, you're doing the most. But that's when you need to do even more. That's when you know you're even closer to something amazing unfolding in your life, right? Number 3, the power of authenticity. Woo! Yes. This is a part of my brand. Every client that I work with, for many of you who may not know, I am also a fashion empowerment coach. So I help people with their fashion and their wardrobe and help them to feel beautiful and look confident. And I help set their dress code up for success. So that any room they step into, they look their best. They're representing their business accurately. But one of the main things that's a part of my personal brand is authenticity. Every woman or man that I work with, I always want them to realize that if you are doing this for someone and not doing it for yourself, eventually it's going to become tiring. You're not going to be able to keep up. People look at me and wonder, how am I able to keep up with this all the time? I said, I've branded my closet and this is my lifestyle. This is how I choose to carry myself. And it doesn't have to be hard work. It doesn't have to be hard work if it's a part of who you are. If you know that this is you, then you can be consistent every step of the way. And this is what people are going to always remember you for. So it's one thing when people remember you for, oh my gosh, this person always have a nice pair of shoes. His socks always matches his tie. And there's another thing when people remember your character, your confidence, your authenticity, something about you so unique. Like they've never met anyone like you. That's amazing. But you got to tap into it. You got to be willing to embrace it. One of my colleagues looked at me and said, Anastasia, your confidence is so effortless. And I kept it real with him. I said, this did not happen overnight. This was work. This was work because, there's one thing with when you have the confidence of what the world thinks is confidence versus when you have this self-assurance and your confidence is not rooted based on what people think about you. It's not even based on how you look. It's based on your mindset and how you view yourself individually. And so God shifted what I thought was confidence and helped me to realize what true confidence was. You don't get easily offended anymore. People can trash talk you, can say all types of garbage about you. And for some reason, you just brush it off your shoulder. Now that's confidence right there. That's wow. That's amazing. But the power of authenticity is really important. It's important to be showing up as your true self because your true self will attract divine opportunities. So I noticed that, I'm in the room in front of all different types of people from different walks of life, wealthy, middle class, white, black, Hispanic, who cares? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm showing up as my true self, I begin to attract the right opportunities. I begin to attract divine connections, those who are meant to be in my circle, those who are meant to serve, and so forth. And so the rest of them that are in there, they don't matter to me. Hi and bye, how are you doing? Shake hands, have a great little conversation and so forth. But the ones that really stick it out, they're like, hey, Anastasia, could we go out for lunch? Could we, hang out sometime? Or could I, utilize your service? I would love to work with you. Those are the kinds of people I notice that God blesses me to attract and connect with, and the rest of them, they have their opinions. And it's kind of like, okay, out of sight, out of mind, whatever. I'll see you when I see you. Those deeper connections, I know God has something to do with it. And they truly see me for who God sees me. And so that's another thing I want to talk about. If you find yourself shrinking back, because we're talking about the power of authenticity. If you are constantly shrinking back when you are, in the midst of peers or family members or friends or whomever, colleagues, if you find yourself shrinking back a lot, you have not embraced your authenticity. And that's something I had to unlearn, because I said, anybody that I'm amongst, I want to be able to be seen as my true self. I want to be able to be my true self and not feel like I have to shrink back to make them feel better about themselves or to help boost up their self-esteem. That doesn't serve those I'm called to serve, and it doesn't serve me any justice either, right? Now, if you are embracing your authenticity and you notice you're around people that's always trying to bring you down, they're trying to find means and ways to tear you down, to expose a flaw about you or whatever the case may be. Those people you want to find yourself running far away from. Get away from them. They don't need to be in your circle. If you are being true to yourself and folks don't see you for who you truly are, those individuals don't need to be in your life either. Surround yourself with people who embrace you for who you are, and they help you to be better. They help you to grow. They help you to progress in life, to progress in your calling, in your purpose, in your assignment on this earth. Those are the people you surround yourself with. Because a lot of times, chosen one, when you're embracing your authenticity, sometimes it can be lonely. Sometimes, when I meet some of my sisters in Christ who are in business and we sit down at the table and have a conversation, they say to me, Anastasia, it's hard to meet people like myself. They're like, I have so much colleagues. I know so much people know me. But when everything is said and done, I feel so alone. I feel like no one gets me. That's why the confidence is needed. As you're embracing your authenticity, ask God to increase your confidence in Him. Number 4. Breaking free from comparison. This is a dangerous one. Dangerous one. Because too many people do it, especially women. And even men, believe it or not. Yes, gentlemen, I'm speaking to you. I've seen men lose their life because of jealousy, because they had guy friends, homeboys in their circle that said, how come he was able to get that girl? How come he was able to get that scholarship? How come he was able to get that opportunity, that contract? How was he able to get that home? Jealousy, comparison. And some of these men lost their life because they thought their friend was with them. Their homeboy was with them. No, they wanted their girlfriend. They wanted their wife. They wanted their home. They wanted what they possessed. Do you see why it's important to be aware of who's in your circle? Sometimes it's just those closest to you that want to take you down. So if you feel alone because you're embracing your authenticity, you're embracing your unique greatness, go ahead and go through the loneliness, because it's better off that way. God has the right selected few for you. Jesus, when he was doing certain miracles, sometimes he took very few disciples with him. He didn't take all 12. And that's okay. When you're a leader, when you're destined for greatness, when you have greatness inside of you, it's great that you don't have a whole bunch of people in your circle. They said when being a leader, when you're at the top, it can be lonely up there, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. God may be even sparing your life, because some people, they lose their life early, premature death takes place because they got the wrong people in their circle and they keep ignoring the red flags. Lastly, let's talk about leadership through authenticity. So we spoke about the power of authenticity, understanding God's design for you. Let's talk about leadership through authenticity. So as you lead, as you do the things that God has called you to do, remember to be true to yourself. Don't do it the way people tell you to do it. After, starting my business and jumping on so many workshops and webinars and learning from other, leaders in the industry, I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, they are doing it. You know what I mean? And even though I'm putting to practice some of the tips and tricks that they shared, in the workshop and the webinar, God, little by little, as I went to him and asked him for guidance, he started revealing to me my own blueprint, of how he wants me to lead and how he wants me to make an impact and how he wants me to show up in the industry that I'm in. And so I really started leaning towards more of that, because I noticed that the more that I was leaning towards that, I felt like I was being true to myself. I felt like, I was doing something that I truly love and not following through with someone else's roadmap. It's a wonderful thing. It's very fulfilling. And I wake up each day already knowing what I need to do, what I need to accomplish. And when I lay down, when I lay my head on my pillow and close my eyes to go to sleep, I'm saying, you know what? I feel good. I feel really good that I did something that was meaningful. I know within my heart, God is satisfied. He's pleased. He's like, good job, my daughter, And so lead with authenticity. Don't follow another person's roadmap. You can learn, you can read books. I think that's really important, and gain knowledge on certain things and, develop your skills, but also lean into the blueprint, the individual blueprint that God has given to you, and go from there. Okay. And this is how your unique greatness will unfold. Remember, your unique greatness is your asset. So don't take it for granted. Don't ignore it. Don't try to be like someone else. Be yourself. Be all that God wants you to be. And you can't go wrong. You will thrive. You will succeed. You will be at peace. You will have joy. You will have a fulfilling life. Here at Divinely Empowered Media, we are all about spotlighting kingdom entrepreneurs who are making an impact in their community. So if you have a story, because leading by your story is impactful, people want to hear your story. So if you have a story that you believe will be transformational and you feel like our audience, we are in the homes of 100,000 viewers on the CBN channels 190, Xfinity, Comcast in Newcastle, Delaware. That's a lot of people. If you have a story that you want to share with our audience that you feel like will make a difference, that you feel like too many people are not aware of, we want to have you on our show. We have so many different ways to spotlight you and to bring more exposure and expansion to your business, if that's something you want to do. If you're a small business owner, or if you are someone that, just started off, or maybe your business is well off and you just want to bring more eyes to what you are doing on television, then definitely reach out to us at www.divinelyempoweredmedia.com. We also have our magazine features. We do post the videos on YouTube so that you can have access to those videos. So feel free to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Follow us, okay, and be a part of the journey. So as we continue to grow, you also will grow. So thank you so much for partnering with Divinely Empowered Media and tuning in. I will see you next week. God bless.
Welcome to Kingdom Sweatshirts, where style meets faith. Our sweatshirts are more than clothing. They're a statement. Made with a comfy 50 by 50 cotton blend, they feature our iconic logo on the front. On the back, carry the powerful message of Matthew 6:33. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. Priced at just $100, you're getting quality and purpose in every stitch. We're building a community rooted in faith. Buy a sweatshirt and instantly become a referral agent. Earn 20% commission when family, friends, or customers order through you. Ready to join us? Visit tvoffers.kingdomsweatshirts.com today. Wear your faith, spread the message, and earn rewards.